Okay, I can't resist asking you this question. So if you're an agnostic, then what do you think of Pascal's wager, right? Because it seems to me like if you truly are at a position where you don't know uh, or don't have enough the wherewithal, I'm not quite sure how to phrase this. If you don't have the wherewithal to make a determination if God exists or not, then why not just roll the dice that indeed God does exist? Because if he does exist, and you think and you bet against it, then the outcome is
Yeah,
horrific.
there's a risk reward there to be had, right? Eternal
Right.
reward versus eternal damnation. But when it comes to Pascal's wager, I mean, if you actually do the math, which I'm sure you have, I mean, depending on what deity you go by, the likelihood of you picking the right one, or more specifically,
Right.
the idea of that right one, even the Christian God itself. And I'm not a theologian. I'll tell you right now, theology is not my jam. But there's a lot of different variations of the Christian God of Yahweh, and so even amongst Christians, if you don't get the right version, you might be a little bit out of luck as well. So I don't think Pascal's wager has ever been a good argument. I think back maybe way back when people were scared, right? There was like argumentum ad baculum, argument to the cudgel that say, look, if you don't agree with me, if you don't believe that I believe, then you're going to be, have suffer some kind of eternal damnation of some sorts. And I think that Pascal's wager in some way capitalizes on that. They say, hey, better safe than sorry, right? Because if you're wrong, look at the outcome. But at the same time, you're just using a fear tactic to say, look, you might as well believe, case it's true. But there could be a lot of different ways where a God exists, and you got the wrong version. And he says, man, you kind of messed up. You were so close, though.
Now I do have to bring up the point. I would argue as a Christian that actually among the different Christian traditions, that there actually is a remarkably unified view of God as being, the triune God as being superpersonal, a superpersonal transcendent being. So, but I think to your larger point, if you're just operating from a framework of theism, is it Allah? Is it the Trinity of Christianity, or is it uh, the God Yahweh of Judaism?
Yeah, and what is the limiting factor? If God exists, right? He's obviously some kind of omnipotent, omnipotent kind of being of some sort. If at least I think that would be the case. That's more likely the case. If there's a God, that's the attributes that he's going to have. And there's a kind of standard, and some type of properties that they're assigned to a deity. And so, where's the line of demarcation where he says, "Hey, you were so close. You believed almost everything correctly, but you got these few facts wrong. So you're not allowed in." I To me, it's such a binary option, right? Either you're going to heaven or you're not going to heaven. Again, logic. And if you're going to heaven, what was the criteria by which that God determined you met, and which that you didn't meet if you aren't allowed to get into heaven? And there seems to be some fuzzy logic in there. There seems to be a huge amount of space between what would be the case to allow entrance and what not, even if you just say, hey, well, anybody who subscribes to John 3:16 and that believes Christ is the risen Lord and things of that nature, you're saved. But even among epistemology, you would have to say that beliefs are gradient in some degrees, right? Our conviction of our belief, either you believe or you don't believe, but our conviction for our belief, there's a lot of gradient there to be had.
Yeah.